In the territory of the municipality of Apricena, to the southwest of the Gargano promontory, the ancient medieval settlement called Castrum Paganum, or Castelpagano, stands sentinel of the Stignano valley, at an altitude of about 546 meters. The first description of the abandoned settlement, dating back to 1721, is given to us by Antonio Guidotti, in his estimation of the Brancia family's possessions. The castle covered an area of more than 1,000 square meters and measured 45 meters from east to west. The ruins consist of a wall about 50 meters long and no more than 1.5 meters high with 2 openings. At the southeastern corner there is a small round tower, while at the northeastern corner another, much larger one can be seen. From this tower starts a continuous slightly sloping wall overlooking the valley below. In the southwest corner stands the most imposing tower, 5-sided and 6 or 7 meters high. Inside, 2 rooms divided by a stone wall can be distinguished. Just to the southwest of the castle are the remains of the church, over 15 meters long and 5.5 meters wide, with the apse facing the tower. The church is located at a lower level than the donjon, on an artificial step made in part by cutting into the limestone ridge. Inside, on the east side of the structure, one can see the carving known as the 9 Mens Moris. It can be recognized by its typical pattern of 3 concentric squares with 4 median segments joining the sides of all the squares. This is a symbol linked to the sacred, whose origins are lost in the mists of ancient times, exceptionally recurring in Dania. On the origin of the castle, and its village, there are only hypotheses that trace the vicissitudes of most settlements that arise in areas of difficult access for security reasons. The very derivation of the place name seems to be surrounded by as much uncertainty. The name, pagan, probably derives from a cult that was practiced in the site, perhaps with very ancient roots. In fact, a natural shelter with artifacts dating back to the Bronze Age has been found in the limestone bank on which the donjon stands. The first historical information on Castelpagano dates back to the year 1095. It is a document that deals with a dispute over the boundaries and civic uses between the current sanctuary of St. Matthew the Apostle and the Homines Castri Pagani, where Abbot Benedict was forced to ask for the intervention of the Norman Henry, Count of Monte Sant'Angelo. For a time it was the stronghold of Rainulfo, Duke of Aversa, until it passed to Roger II of Sicily, who defeated him in 1137. However, in the same year it was beaten by the German Emperor Lothair III, who had descended into Italy instigated by Pope Innocent II and the princely rulers ousted by him, which resulted in the deaths of hundreds of victims during the violent battle. In 1177 Castelpagano, along with the monastery of St. John in Lama, the convent of St. Mary of Pulsano and other lands, were granted to Queen Joan, daughter of England's King Henry II and sister of Richard the Lionheart. Frederick II, a resident of nearby Apricena, restored it by adapting it for his hunting amusements and installed a garrison of Saracen Fides there. Later, the village was a fief of Manfred and was later devolved to the kings by royal right. Between the 13th and 14th centuries the settlement, having long lost its military importance, decayed considerably because of its decentralized location and the ruggedness of the place, which also lacked water. In March 1467 Ferdinand gave Castelpagano to Ettore Re Papacoda of Naples, who gave splendor to the whole area by also having the shrine of Stignano erected in 1515. Due to the 1627 earthquake, the entire site suffered serious damage. This was a real blow to a village that for years was the scene of gradual mass abandonment. In the surrounding area one can still make out the ruins of dwellings with the ever-present cisterns. The last to take possession of the village, in 1768, was Prince Cattaneo of Sant'Acandro. To see it, so silent in its grandeur, crumbling on an impassable rocky outcrop, almost as if it still wanted to fulfill its task as guardian of the underlying access route to the mystical Gargano, the Via Sacra Longobardorum, it is no wonder that popular tradition has placed it in the realm of legendary facts, dotting it with fables and tales that lie between reality and fantasy, in the historical gaps of its distant past. This distant world clusters around the most mysterious of feelings, love, which finds its greatest expression in the legend of the so-called Leather Bridge, which tells of the love of the valiant Saracen named Mohan, lord of Castelpagano, for the enchanting princess of Roman lineage who dwelt in a castle erected on the Mount of Woman, on the other side of the valley. It was a love thwarted because of the deep abyss that stood between the two religious faiths. An abyss, represented by the wide and endless valley of Stignano infested with brambles and poisonous snakes. But Mohan was willing to do anything to get her, even kidnapping. The princess's parents devised a stratagem. Mohan was to build a bridge across the valley to enable the entire wedding procession to reach Castelpagano without stumbling into the risk of poisonous viper bites. Mohan immediately set to work using all the material available in his territory. Despite his efforts, the mountain turned into a barren and stony ground with no more resources useful for life. With the leather bridge left unfinished and his starving subjects abandoning him to his fate, the Saracen lord allowed himself to die, remaining on the top of the fortress with the distant profile of Woman's Mountain in his eyes.